WWE superstar Cody Rhodes says leaving All Elite Wrestling was the easiest thing I ever did. Randy Orton has been spotted in Detroit ahead of SummerSlam this weekend. Could the Viper be set to make a miraculous return to WWE television? What about Bray Wyatt? What's the latest with his in-ring status? Is he going to be at the biggest event of the summer this weekend? Roode has also been spotted in Detroit for SummerSlam, but not for a role as a wrestler. Now, obviously, Ronda Rousey is going to be facing off against Shayna Baszler at SummerSlam in an MMA rules match, but WWE reportedly doesn't even know what that means. Ricky Starks praises AEW Collision's impact on his career and updates on the production of SummerSlam tomorrow night. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. Let's start off talking about Cody Rhodes, of course. He's the name on a lot of people's lips this week with his documentary, his explanation about leaving AEW, the personal issue, the match against Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam tomorrow, and now he has said that leaving AEW was the easiest thing he ever did. Now, though he's now at the top of the card in WWE, preparing to face Brock Lesnar for the third time tomorrow at SummerSlam, it wasn't too long ago that the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes was an executive vice president at All Elite Wrestling. Speaking to GQ about his 2022 AEW departure, Rhodes once again brought up an insurmountable issue that led him to leaving AEW and returning to WWE. Here's what Cody Rhodes said, and I quote, "Leaving AEW was the easiest thing I ever did," Rhodes said, "and it's because I had a personal issue that I wasn't going through, over, or around. I was just going to steer clear of it. If anything, I wanted to look at what we had done at AEW and say, amazing, what a wonderful time, a beautiful memory, and very special in every way. And now, let's time to move on." Rhodes then made it clear that he harbours no ill will towards his former company or anyone in it. However, both Rhodes and his wife Brandi knew that it was time to move on. When asked if he could ever see his current and former employer working together in any major capacity, Rhodes was, I guess, understandably skeptical. He said, quote, "I don't see it, only because I'm the old competitive type, you know? That's your competition, and you want to run the score up. I was happy that we were able to talk about that specific time in my career in the documentary, because it's hard for fans to understand. My time with AEW might have ended murky, but it didn't end on a bad note. It was a wonderful season of my life." So what are your thoughts on Cody Rhodes' comments there when it comes to leaving AEW being the easiest thing he's ever done, as well as, once again, this personal issue? Now, a lot of people have been asking, well, what's the personal issue then? Why is he being so vague? Well, Dave Meltzer's opened up on this in the Wrestling Observer newsletter this week, and as I mentioned, the topic of Cody Rhodes' AEW departure has been talked about again following the release of his American Nightmare Becoming Cody Rhodes documentary on Peacock. Now, during the 2-hour deep dive into Rhodes' journey, he noted that he wouldn't talk about the reasons behind his AEW departure. Rather, he simply stated it was a, quote, personal issue not related to money or other talent. In the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer analysed the situation again as Brandi Rhodes seemingly knocked AEW President Tony Khan in the documentary for not picking up the options on both of their AEW contracts. Cody and Brandi signed 3-year deals with AEW in 2019, but Khan did not pick up the 2-year option. While Khan and Cody were negotiating a new deal, Vince McMahon met with Rhodes. January 26, 2022 marked Rhodes' last AEW match before he returned to WWE at WrestleMania 38 in April of that year. Meltzer stated that he's reached out to Khan, Rhodes, and others looking to clarify why Rhodes left, but they have an agreement in place not to discuss it publicly. Others who were asked had their own speculation and were overwhelmingly surprised that one of the founding EVPs left the company. Since leaving AEW, Rhodes has been adamant that he still remains in contact with Matt and Nick Jackson of the Young Bucks. His documentary, of course, featured footage from Being the Elite, which led to Nick, Matt, and Matt's wife Dana being thanked in the credits. So what are your thoughts once again on Cody Rhodes saying it's the easiest thing he ever did leaving AEW, and what do you think this personal issue is? Speculate. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Is Cody Rhodes telling the truth, or is he telling his version of the truth? Will we ever find out the personal issue that led to Cody Rhodes' departure and WWE Return? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Now, a big story that kind of caught fire today was Randy Orton possibly returning to WWE television this weekend at SummerSlam. Now, the reason why is because a big WWE star is in Detroit ahead of SummerSlam tomorrow at Ford Field. Former WWE champion Randy Orton, of course, has not been seen on WWE television since May of last year, where he and Matt Riddle lost the Raw Tag Team Championships to the Usos. There have been numerous updates on Orton's status in the months since then, with the latest update being that he's not been yet cleared for an in-ring return. There has been some speculation that Orton could make a surprise return at SummerSlam, and while that's far from confirmed, in fact we've got more details on that in just a second, he will be in town for the show. Per PW Insider, Randy Orton is indeed in Detroit ahead of the show. Now, it's important to note before we get onto this explanation on this, that Orton being in Detroit doesn't mean he will appear on the show, as he was also present in Los Angeles for WrestleMania 39 earlier this year. Doctors reportedly have allegedly told Orton that returning to the ring would not be a good idea and have advised against it, though he does still intend on returning to the ring and has been working out in recent weeks. But as of right now, of course, the last report was he wasn't even cleared to actually even be taking bumps or even train inside of a ring for an in-ring return. Now, once this story started to catch fire, Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select provided an update saying, quote, "Despite reports of Randy Orton being in Detroit, I'm told by people close to Randy that he is nowhere near medically cleared to return at this point." Once again, not being even cleared to bump in the ring. So whilst it doesn't rule out Randy Orton appearing on television, it certainly does rule out Randy Orton wrestling or taking bumps or doing an RKO. So of course it's possible the Viper could appear, but it's very unlikely that we'll see that at SummerSlam this weekend. Now, one person, again, who has been speculated about returning is Bray Wyatt, and an update has emerged on Bray Wyatt amid rumours about his WWE return ahead of SummerSlam this weekend. Bray Wyatt has not appeared on WWE television since late February, when he was seemingly building up to a match with Bobby Lashley at WrestleMania 39. Wyatt stepped away from the ring due to an undisclosed illness and hasn't returned since then. A new report from PW Insider has now indicated that Wyatt returning at SummerSlam this weekend is very unlikely. Per Mike Johnson of PW Insider, there has been no indication internally that a Bray Wyatt return is happening at SummerSlam. Johnson has also noted that numerous sources have confirmed that Wyatt won't make a comeback until he's cleared to return following his health issue. There reportedly has been no indication that Wyatt being cleared is on the horizon either. It was also added that WWE is being, quote, very, very careful with Wyatt's health. Once again, there's been no indication as to what the health issue is. You have to respect privacy, medical history, and confidentiality. We wish Wyatt a safe and healthy recovery from this health issue. Hopefully he can be back sooner rather than later. But as of right now, it's not going to be at SummerSlam this weekend. Now, someone that is in Detroit for this weekend's festivities is Robert Roode, but not as a wrestler. Now, it was previously reported that Robert Roode, whatever you want to call him, was in town for SummerSlam, and there was a lot of speculation about Roode returning to the ring at Saturday's August 5th Premium Live event. But the real reason why Roode is in Detroit has seemingly now been revealed. Per PW Insider, Roode actually will be helping out as a producer for SummerSlam. It was also noted that Roode will also be at Raw on Monday, serving in this role. Now, this could be an indication of a post-in-ring future for Roode in the company, because Roode hasn't wrestled since June of last year, over a year ago, and has undergone multiple neck surgeries during his WWE hiatus. The former United States champion took to social media in May to confirm that he had undergone a C4-5 cervical fusion following his previous C5-6 fusion in November of 2022. So he's going to be working as a producer, which could be, as I said, an indication of a role he could have moving forward, and it actually could spell possibly the end of Robert Roode's in-ring career. If we get any more details on that, of course, we'll let you know in a future video. Now, one match scheduled for the card on Saturday, tomorrow, at Ford Field, is this MMA rules match between Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler. And a new update has shared an insight into WWE's plans for the MMA rules match at SummerSlam between Baszler and Rousey. Well, this week's Raw saw extensive hype for the clash between the real-life best friends Rousey and Baszler. There has been a lack of details regarding the stipulation of the match itself, other than its title of MMA Rules, of course. Now writing in the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer has revealed the reason behind this lack of information, and it's to do with the company not actually knowing what an MMA Rules match entails just yet. Here's what Meltzer had to say, quote, "We do know the reason nothing was announced is because they hadn't settled on exactly what MMA Rules means." So yes, they've booked the show and booked the match, but they don't know exactly what it means. Now, this apparent lack of preparation may seem surprising to some WWE fans, but not surprising to others. But with SummerSlam just a day away at the time of recording, hopefully the company figures it out soon enough. Now, with Rousey expected to leave WWE not long after SummerSlam, Baszler has made it clear she's not going anywhere by revealing her immediate goals after she gets past the UFC champion is to once again hold gold in WWE. So not only could it be Rousey's final match in WWE, but they still don't know what the match entails. So again, very interesting, that one. Now let's switch gears here and talk about some AEW, specifically AEW Collision. There is going to be an episode tomorrow night live on TNT, and Ricky Starks has been a name that has flourished under the new show on Saturday nights. On the July 15 edition of AEW Collision, Ricky Starks defeated CM Punk to win the 2023 Owen Hart Foundation Men's Tournament Final. To gain the victory, Starks used the rope, signaling a heel turn for the ever-popular star. Since then, he has continued his rivalry with the former two-time AEW World Champion. The two men are now set to face each other with Punk's Real World Championship on the line on the August 5th edition of AEW Collision. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat will also serve as the special outside official for the bout. Now, speaking to Alicia Atout, Starks discussed his program with CM Punk and how it's given a renewed sense of substance. He said, and I quote, "It's been really good for me, I feel like," Starks said, working about CM Punk with CM Punk on Collision. "I have a renewed sense of myself, and I have a renewed sense of, you know, something of substance type of thing." And I remember back then when he had all of these, he was facing Hobbs and all these other people, and I was like, damn, what about me? He continues by saying, "I did feel some type of way because in my mind, it is great to wrestle somebody with that type of experience. I don't think people realize Punk is one of the few guys that have gone from the independence of the old, went through the transition of WWE and that whole system. Then went into the other transition of when it was really corporate WWE, and now he's here. He's one of the very few. Him, Bryan Danielson, people like that have gone through that system, and they know. They've seen all those different phases of wrestling." Now, Starks continued on to explain that working with Punk feels like iron sharpening iron. He said, quote, "So it's great just because iron sharpens iron, and I think being in there with Punk obviously makes me a better person because in my head, there's a lot of pressure that I put on myself to step up to the plate, so to speak. As they say on the internet, it's sink or swim, and I've been swimming quite a bit. So it's great. It really is. And these are things that are needed. It's cool to wrestle someone that's on the same level as me, but I really don't want that." He then carried on saying, "I want to wrestle someone that is way better than me, that is beyond my years." You know what I'm saying? And I feel like everybody should strive for that. I want to wrestle someone that definitely could eat my lunch. I would love that. I want to be on the mic against someone that could destroy me. Let's do it. Let's see how that goes. So certainly Starks very happy and very confident after this feud with CM Punk. How do you think it's benefited Ricky Starks, and what do you think the result is going to be tomorrow? Is CM Punk going to retain his Real World Championship, or is Absolute going to steal another victory over the former AEW World Champion? Finally, with SummerSlam being tomorrow, a bit of an update when it comes to the production side of things. Of course, WWE is set to hold its second biggest premium live event of the year tomorrow night, when SummerSlam takes over Ford Field in Detroit. WWE has held many great stadium shows and international premium live events over the past year, and with 45,000 people set to be in Detroit, the production notes for the show have been revealed. Per PW Insider, the show will feature a long aisle similar to Backlash in Puerto Rico and last year's SummerSlam in Nissan Stadium. Of course, it was the same for Money in the Bank at the O2 as well. The production for the cameras will also be similar to last year's SummerSlam event, with the hard cameras set up on stages on the stadium floor, shooting towards one of the end zones in the stadium. The show will feature what WWE are calling 4 main events, with Roman Reigns versus Jey Uso for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship being advertised as the top match for the show. Of course, we will be live tomorrow with a watch-along and a post-show for SummerSlam, so we're going to have it all covered, so be sure to join us then. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right hand corner. Remember, you can join the official WN365 roster by clicking that join button. You get your badges, your emojis, and your exclusive members only content. A new members video went up just a couple of days ago, which was a rewatch of Mick Foley versus Ric Flair from SummerSlam 2006. More matches coming soon, and the continuation of the Monday Night Wars rewatch series, that's on there as well. Anyway, guys, have a great evening, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon. Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.